Please welcome our guest speaker with a huge round of applause.
Good morning. I hope I am clearly audible to everyone. And pardon a bit bad throat. I have just come out of a very bad bout of flu. Good morning and my greetings to all the esteemed members of the faculty present here, all the students who put together this event, and every single student in this audience. Thank you so much for such a generous and longish introduction of mine. I hope I do justice to your time and attendance for next 1 hour. What are the things that we are going to discuss this morning? First and foremost, because I have been teaching for civil service and forest service examination for almost 22 years. So there has been a meta picture, there has been a big picture that has emerged before me, working closely with the students. More than 2,000 people who got selected, but you can easily appreciate that almost 20,000 must be those who did not get selected. And you learn from the journey of those who succeeded, and you learn from the journey of those who did not. Never underestimate those people who were unable to clear this examination. There is a lot to learn from their journey as well. Many of them might have been equally capable, many of them might have been very hardworking also. But one tiny little strategic mistake here and there, and then you would see them not being selected. My effort will be to make you aware of the things which you should not be doing in your preparation. है ना? तो सबसे पहले we will be talking about the meta picture of the UPSC preparation. But then we will quickly be coming to the opportunities which are there in front of you as zoology student or life sciences student. What are those opportunities? And then how to make the best out of those opportunities. In simple English, how to maximize your chances of getting successful in these hyper competitive examination. Okay. And if time permits, and I'll make sure that we have some time for question and answer. In the last segment, I'll be very happy to take your questions and answer those questions to the best of my knowledge. Okay. So grateful for this opportunity, and let us now start understanding what the UPSC demands. And why I'm choosing to start here, even though on YouTube there must be 10,000 videos, and I'm sure you must have watched 9,500 videos already. Why still I have to start from there? If you have not watched, that is good, because your brain is uncluttered then. If you have watched, I will have to do some bit of undoing the damage, but we will try to do that. Okay. So the thing is, that it goes without saying that UPSC Civil Service Examination is indeed a very challenging one. I'm not using the word tough, mark my words carefully. It is challenging. Challenging in three regards. To begin with, the Civil Service Examination attracts almost 10 lakh people, 1 million people who come and fill up the form. So the magnitude of competition. Now you would be saying, okay, all of them are not serious. I agree, all of them are not serious. But around 200,000, 2 lakh बच्चे ऐसे हैं who will give you a very tough time survive in the competition. So even if you discount the semi-preparedness of remaining 800,000 people, 200,000 people will make this examination very, very challenging for you. And finding a seat out of around 1,000 seats in a crowd of 200,000 people is still a tough order. You have to brace for that challenge. Second, UPSC Civil Service Examination, the magnitude of syllabus. So as a teacher in the test prep industry, I have been watching even other entrance examination, even other recruitment examination very closely. किसी भी examination का syllabus is not so broad. GS is itself 12 subjects, a small and big 12 subjects. Then you have to take one optional subject. And the beauty of the optional subject is that it brings together everything that you are studying in 3 years of your graduation within 2 papers. So imagine meeting the demands of 3 years of your graduation in a single day spread across 2 sittings. Morning sitting, you are dealing with entire animal diversity. If we are talking about zoology optional, you are dealing with entire animal diversity. ecology, economic zoology, ethology, that is animal behavior, biostatistical methods, bioinstrumentation. And even if you are super prepared, be ready for the second sitting, which is coming just after 3 hours. And then you are dealing with cell bio, biochemistry, genetics and biotechnology, human physiology, developmental biology. So the challenge level, the syllabus in general studies, in your optional subject, syllabus itself demands a lot of commitment. The third thing is that it is not just a test of your academic abilities. There is something called personality test, जिसको हम interview कहते हैं. And interview itself is something for which you have to prepare from day one. You are looking for a certain personality type. It is not a rocket science to develop that kind of personality, but along with your academic journey, you have to prepare for your personality, and that makes the civil service challenge a little demanding. Now, how to deal with this challenge? All of you are right now in college. You are not a full-time aspirant, but still, if you have 20 or 30 hours a week, means on an average 3 to 4 hours a day, if you can spare, and if you are serious about civil service preparation, I think it is never too early to start. A lot of people say, especially those who are motivational speakers, so they would say it is never too late to start. But for civil service examination, it is never too early to start. Had you been someone fresh out of your school and would have come to me, I want to prepare for civil service, I would have said, yes, start now. Yes, of course, at that point of time, your approach would have been much more relaxed. Now, many of you are in first year, more of you are perhaps in second and third year. So for you, the time cushion is relatively less, and you should be thinking of how to extract 20 to 30 hours a week for your civil service preparation. If you have that much time, you should start right now, and right now means tomorrow. Okay? There is no day after tomorrow. Your beginning may be imperfect, but it is fine. Once you have made the beginning, you can do the course correction. So I am someone who believes in aim, shoot, re-aim, shoot better, rather than aiming perfectly, because even if you are aiming perfectly, there is likelihood कि आप target miss कर जाओगे. So why not start with some level of preliminary aiming, shoot. You will go wrong, that's perfectly all right. Next time you will aim better. Next time the chances of hitting the target are much better. So start tomorrow. Whatever a small beginning you can do, do it. Many of you might have heard of this book called Atomic Habits, James Clear. Some of you might have read it also. So we cannot underestimate the importance of small beginnings. Small beginnings are just like snowball. As it rolls down, it will be gathering its mass, it will be gathering its momentum, but you have to start small and start immediately. Next thing that I would like to tell you, because the journey is going to be long, because the journey is going to be challenging, know your why very, very clearly. The more clear you are about why civil service, because as bright young kids of today, you have so many options available. Think of it. You can go overseas to pursue your master's, doctorate, and you can find a faculty position outside of this country. You can choose the same path within our country. You can do biotechnology masters or some applied sciences, and you can find a place in the corporate world. All of them are extremely fulfilling careers. So out of all these options which are available before you, why civil service? The stronger is your reason, the stronger are your chances of staying the course of this journey. So start with why. Do it today, this evening, once you are done with everything. Reflect back to this conversation and ask yourself, why on the earth I want to go in the civil service? It cannot be your parents' desire alone. That won't be enough to put you on the track for more than 3 months. It cannot be just because you find it too glamorous by watching 20 different YouTube videos that some IAS officer comes out of his or her official car very stylishly. A lot of them are actually keeping along a camera person all the time. जब वो कार से आते हैं तो someone is keeping the camera, वो शूट करते हैं, फिर वो रील पोस्ट होती है. You don't have to be that officer. India needs better officer, more sensible officer. Okay. So, if only that glamour is your reason, that will also fade away. But if you have some strong reason, it can be societal reason, it can be your own sense of fulfillment, it can be your own definition of success. If that reason is strong enough, be sure you will stay the course. Third thing is, in the beginning, get very clear about this outcome formula. What is outcome formula? So outcome formula I discovered almost 20-30 years back, but it holds relevant today also. So whatever in life you are pursuing, the outcome, your desired outcome, is a product of three things. You have to multiply these three variables. First is the right direction. Because if you are not working in the right direction, your efforts are not going anywhere. Like if you have to walk to Mumbai, you are not going to walk eastward from Delhi. You have to walk down south, slightly west. Then only you have a real chance of reaching Mumbai, else perhaps not. So direction. Second is consistent effort. And third, despite these two things, effort in the right direction, you need to give yourself time. And that time frame is anywhere between 12 to 18 months, depending on how much consistent effort you are putting in. So from a beginner to becoming examination ready, you need a journey of maximum 18 months, provided you are putting in your effort right and you know your direction right. 18 months is what it takes to become examination ready. So somewhere you write this down, because on the days for XYZ reason you are not putting in any effort, you understand that on that day your progress towards your desired outcome is zero. Because direction you have, time you have, but effort is zero. So when you are multiplying all these things on that particular day, your progress towards the outcome, that became zero. So be very aware of that outcome equation. Having said that, now something important, something tactical. Start with self-studies. Okay? There is absolutely no denial to this. Like a lot of us, we jump to some kind of support. And mind it, I am representing an institution that has spent 2 decades preparing the students for the civil service, and yet I am saying start with self-studies. इसका मतलब इसमें कुछ तो सच्चाई होगी. I could have said, no, cut down your journey time, cut down your effort, come for some direction. No. There is no running away from the first principle. And the first principle of preparedness is you need to build your own concept. Even for half of the syllabus, you need to learn how to learn. And that happens in the college. Respect the opportunity that you got to get into this college, be taught by an amazing set of teachers, having access to such great infrastructure, including your library and including very bright peer group. You come out of your college and you will crave for this. Till we are having it, we are likely to take it for granted. घर की मुर्गी? ठीक है, आप लोग की हिंदी बहुत अच्छी है. Okay, so while you are here, be grateful for this opportunity. It is so easy to see something very close and complain, है ना? ये नहीं होता, वो नहीं होता, ऐसे है, वैसे है. You just need to finish your grad, come out of the 4 walls of this college, and you will start remembering these things. Because बाहर ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. Start with self-studies and do your graduation very, very seriously. Because if you have done it seriously, understand with respect to your optional subject, you are already standing at 60 to 70% point. If you have actually done every single topic mentioned in the syllabus, the way it is meant to be done, the way it is being taught to you. More often than not, we all take shortcuts. We end up first wasting time, and there is no dearth of opportunities to waste time. It was back there in our times also. आज भी है, आज और भी avenues हैं, तब avenues कम भी थे, फिर भी we had our own ways to waste time. And once you have wasted your time, someday the examination comes, okay? And panic is the perfect antidote to procrastination. ये लिख के रख लेना, ठीक है? You procrastinate the entire year. Okay? When the exam time comes, your procrastination simply evaporates and you are the most serious student on the face of the earth. Okay? I am saying don't be that most serious. Be just 50% of that student who you would be in the week before your examination. Be 50% and be that round the year. Your civil service preparation will be taken care of at least 70%. And needless to say, you will be doing amazingly well in your graduation semesters also. So that's the thing. Start with self-studies. It will build concept. It will give you an insight कि कैसे किसी चीज़ को master करनी होती है. And when we are talking about the self-study, here I have something to say. Do not jump the queue. Do not jump the queue means I and my team every single week we come across 3-4 such requests that I think we are reasonably prepared with the subject. Can I join test series? And we always have to say no. You think you are prepared. We don't want to underestimate you, but you are not well prepared. This preparation is no joke कि आप पार्ट टाइम में थोड़ा थोड़ा पढ़ते पढ़ते जो है आपको लगा कि आप प्रिपेयर कर गए हो. You have to be serious about sound preparation. On every single topic, you have to be reasonably well prepared in terms of notes. You should have gone through those notes. And here, your standard resources will be the first thing to go. Listen to your teachers. Listen to your teachers when they suggest कि सेल बायो के लिए कूपर पढ़ लेना. For that matter, माइटोटिक apparatus कार्प में सबसे अच्छा दिया हुआ है, वो पढ़ लेना. TCA साइकिल लेनिंजर में अच्छी दी हुई है, मीन्स नेल्सन एंड कॉक्स में अच्छी दी हुई है, वो पढ़ लेना. एंजाइम वोएट से अच्छा नहीं मिलेगा, लेकिन मत पढ़ना, नहीं समझ में आएगी. So when your teacher says so, the teacher has years of wisdom behind this statement. Follow your teacher, but line by line, complete the syllabus. It will be helping you big way. So don't jump the queue. Do not skip the textbook. In our time, search engines were just new, so lazy students will do Google search, Krebs cycle, and all of that. And it was a pathetic web page that will come, and some people will try to do it from there, only to meet pathetic outcomes. Today, Google has become a little better. We have Wikipedia, and who can forget ChatGPT? Correct? One of the worst ways to use ChatGPT is to ask it questions. Trust me. It is as bad as visiting a Wikipedia page and believing that it gives me everything that is there to be known on enzymes. Because you have not read book, therefore you think it has got everything that you need to know. So don't ask ChatGPT any question. If you are serious about using ChatGPT, serious, okay? First and foremost, pay some money to Sam Altman. Once you have got to the premium one, then give it a complex academic material and ask ChatGPT to simplify this for you. That will augment your studies. Because in free tier, they give you very little access to these 4O and other models. So शायद पैसे देने पड़ेंगे. लेकिन the good thing is, एक बच्चा पैसे दे दे और उसके बाद 5-6 लोग उसको यूज कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, सबका साथ सबका विकास चलता रहेगा. So don't be that student who does not read the book. Reading books, preparing your notes from there will go a long way. Next thing is that right from day one of your preparation, let's say in a given week, you have got 24 hours. So 12 hours goes to general studies. What to do in general studies? Start with the zero level books, that is NCERT. Be patient about it. Read the needed books, and there are enough guidelines on YouTube. What are the books to be read among the NCERTs? But divide your available time along with the college, divide your available time into 2 equal halves. One half goes to general studies, one half goes to optional subject. And when you are doing that, there are 2 things which are happening. One, you are not feeling monotonous, because if you are solely doing general studies, pretty soon you will get bored. And second, if you are doing two things together, one more thing happens, that you will have a sense of solid progress. Acha, GS maybe I have come this way, and even in my optional subject, I have come this far. So when you do two things together, no monotony plus a sense of brisk progress, which will keep you motivated to go further down the road. And last but not the least, whatever you are studying, make sure you are making synoptical notes, bringing out all the key concepts, all the key facts at one place, so that next time you do not have to go back to the book. Only when you want to clarify something, you can go to the book. Otherwise, you do not need to go to the book. Your notes should suffice. And when you are making notes, try to make your notes very crisp, very organized. Do not try to photocopy by hand. Lot of us try to do that. We copy the entire paragraph. So that's not making notes. That is photocopying by hand. So just read the material, reflect on the material, and then organize it as briefly, as crisply. Remember, as long as you remember the key facts, key concept, and some supporting examples, you are good to answer the question that can be asked on this. So that's the thing. Now, let's pay attention to the opportunities before you as bioscience as a student, either zoology or life science. Maybe a few of you might be from botany background, but this one applies to all the students studying one or the other bioscience. So first thing first, retain your optional, retain your subject, because in this subject you are already at a certain level. From here, you can just build a little and you will be touching the need of the examination. In any other subject, let's say people influence you that no, your subject is having a very lengthy syllabus. Second, people influence you, तुम्हारे subject में score नहीं आता. Third thing, तुम्हारे subject से selection ratio बहुत कम है. And then you really feel lost and you gravitate towards some other subject. Here are the consequences. In some other subject, you are starting at zero. You do not even know the right books. You have to turn to internet. And here in your subject, you have such nuanced understanding of the sources. You exactly know, like when we were students, we exactly knew which book to go for TCA cycle, which book to go for DNA replication, which book to go for cell signaling. For developmental biology, which book is great for traditional developmental biology and which book is great for a molecular account of developmental biology, right? So here you have such a detailed understanding, and in other subject, you don't have any understanding. So someone says, बस 2 किताबें से बेसिक बन जाएगा और ये 3 किताबें पढ़ लो प्लस दिस मटेरियल पढ़ लो, तुम्हारा हो जाएगा. It is as bad as saying कि बस NCERT पढ़ लो, तुम्हारी बेसिक बन जाएगी, ये 2-3 किताबें पढ़ लो और you can conquer zoology like anything. Does that happen? No. I can already see some smiling faces here because you know it is not possible. But then how do you accept the same for other subject where you know nothing? Second thing is that in your own subject, you actually know what you don't know. In other subject, you don't know what you don't know. In your subject, तुम्हें पता है कि I fumble at pentose phosphate pathway. I fumble at gluconeogenesis. मुझसे याद नहीं होता. Right? At least you know what you don't know. Try applying the same for philosophy, sociology. You don't even know what you don't know. So how you are going to work upon it? So you are leaving yourself on the mercy of some coaching institution, some material, and hoping for the best. But hope is not a strategy. A strategy is always grounded in facts. Therefore, retain your subject. Let's talk about the scoring potential. Your subject, or for that matter, any subject, their score depends not on the subject, on your performance. It is up to you whether you attract good score or you do not attract good score, but it is invariably your performance and never the subject. You give me one subject and guarantee me that come what may, irrespective what kind of answer I'm writing, I'm going to get good score. Is it possible in any subject? No. Because the professors who are examiner for that year's UPSC answer sheets, the set of professors, they are going to have their own expectation from the candidates. You touch or exceed those expectations, you are going to score well. You fall short of those expectations, you are not going to score well. It is as simple as this. There is no single subject which is a guarantee to a good score. It's always your performance. Second, come out of this myth of easy and short subject. Think of it. If your subject is so long in syllabus and some XYZ subject is so short in its syllabus, as a lot of people would want you to believe through their YouTube videos, then why is it so that in all the universities, not only in India, but across the world, all these subjects take exactly the same number of years to complete the graduation? So क्या सब्जेक्ट XYZ में फर्स्ट ईयर के बाद पढ़ाना बंद कर देते हैं, उसके बाद अंताक्षरी हो रही होती है और सिर्फ हमारे ही सब्जेक्ट में पढ़ाई हो? ऐसा तो नहीं है ना? What does it mean? UPSC, when it creates the list of optional subject, it tries to make sure that your level of academic burden, your level of academic challenge is at par. You should not simply be benefited or you simply should not be at a disadvantage क्योंकि तुमने ये subject लिया है. It tries to create and it has always done its best to create a level playing field. So no one should be misleading you into take this subject because it has a short syllabus. You people are far too intelligent to be swayed by this. So do not get swayed by this today or even 5 years down the line. If someone comes to me from a smaller university, unfortunately, the person did not build a good base in graduation and all. Someone comes and tells me that, sir, we have done graduation in zoology, but कैसे किया हमें ही पता है. कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं था, हमने मेडिकल की तैयारी की, फिर इस सब्जेक्ट में एडमिशन मिल गया, हमने एब्सेंट रहते रहते ग्रेजुएशन किया. होता है ऐसा, ठीक है. So what do you think? Should I take this subject? And my answer is no. Because nothing in your history tells me that you are interested in this subject. So even someone who was a graduate, but graduate without interest, I have to say no. But if you have interest, go with this subject. Plain and simple, you will be doing much better compared to any other subject that you might be thinking of taking. That's one thing. The next thing is that your subject's journey. Let me give you an analogy of a plane's journey, and that will be your subject's journey. So a plane, before taking off, it spends some time on the runway. It is basically preparing to take off. Then, आप मानो ना मानो, takeoff is the most challenging phase of any plane's journey. Takeoff to reaching the cruising altitude. So your takeoff phase is also going to demand a lot of energy. But once you have taken off nicely, once your preparation plane is flying at cruising altitude, the level of challenge suddenly drops considerably, and that is when you will start seriously enjoying your journey. And then descent and touchdown to the designated airport, and that is your final preparedness for the examination. So runway is your preparing to prepare. So you do not just like that start preparing for your optional subject. You first have to prepare to prepare. What all happens in this stage? The first thing is take a deep look at the syllabus. Underline every single topic if you can make sense of this. If you cannot make sense of this, maybe you have not studied it as a part of your graduation curriculum, don't underline it. But every single topic that makes sense to you, and that will be 99% of the topics or at least 95, underline it. Now you have absorbed the syllabus part nicely. Go through it once more after you have underlined this. And then go through the previously asked questions. And not to understand what has been asked. That is a very superficial way of looking at it. You should be looking at previously asked questions basically to understand how and what kind of questions are being asked. Don't merely narrow it to what question has been asked, because what question has been asked, exactly the same question may not be repeated. The exact repeat percentage is not more than 50. So you are always going to see 50% questions which have been framed afresh from the syllabus, but these questions have been framed afresh. तो उसके लिए तो पूरी syllabus पढ़नी पड़ेगी. But you should still go through last 10 years questions to understand what kind of questions are being asked. You will need to give it at least 5-6 days, every day 2 hours. Be slow about it. Do not just glance through the question paper. Look at the question, think about, could have I answered it? And if not, what do I need to do to answer it? That ways, then you will understand कि okay, ऐसे भी question पूछे जाते हैं. And good discovery will be that there will be a lot of questions which will be easier than your honors examination questions. So you are also going to have the realize, अच्छा ऐसे भी क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं, मैं तो ऐसे ही डर रही थी, वो फीलिंग भी आएगी. गुड. एंड देन देयर विल बी सर्टेन क्वेश्चंस व्हिच विल स्केयर यू. सो अच्छा ये भी पूछते हैं, कोई बात नहीं, कर लेंगे. सो दैट शुड बी योर अप्रोच व्हेन यू आर गोइंग थ्रू द प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन. टेक अ लुक ऑन कि किस तरह के क्वेश्चन पूछे जा रहे हैं. एंड वंस यू हैव डन दैट, go back to the syllabus, this time with a highlighter, only one color, green highlighter. What are the topics in the syllabus where you are having 60% confidence? कि थोड़ा सा और पढ़ के I can answer the questions. And you will be surprised that you will highlight no less than 50% of the topics. कि थोड़ा सा और पढ़ के you will be able to answer these questions which have been asked by the UPSC. So that is familiarizing yourself with the syllabus, with the question paper, and doing a quick strength, weakness, opportunity and threat analysis. A strength is what you already know. Weakness is what you do not know. There you have to work. Opportunity is that you already have a certain base and you already know about 50% of the topics. So you will be doing very good if you are willing to put in some consistent effort. And threat is if for one or the other reason, if you have not been able to put that kind of effort, then that will be the only threat. So you are going to be your best friend and possibly the worst enemy. You have to take a call. What do you want to be seen as when you look back at your journey 10 years down the line? Were you your best friend or were you your best or worst enemy? Okay. So just be consistent about it. So that is your runway. Next thing is, once you have gone through, this is going to be a little hard. This is perhaps you will need some support of your teachers. But next thing is that once you have gone through last 10 years question, try to prepare a list of dimensions. It is going to take time. So take one area at a time. I will give you example. What do I mean by dimensions? In any topic, UPSC requires you to answer certain types of questions. And that is more than apparent when you go through the previous questions. That what kind of questions you are expected to answer. For example, in mitochondria, nobody is going to ask, बताओ mitochondria की discovery किसने की? Nobody is going to ask you. So well, that is something you can safely escape. But how about ultrastructure? It is very much required. How about the fine structure of the inner membrane? Very much required. Well, how about the protein complexes and their respective role? Very much required. How about the functions of the mitochondria? Pretty much required. How about justifying the statement it is the powerhouse of the cell? Very much required. These are the dimensions which can be asked. That's it. So, under each topic, prepare a dimension list. Do not go about doing it for the entire syllabus. It will take so much time that you will lose interest. तो क्या करना होगा? जिस भी एरिया के साथ स्टार्ट कर रहे हो ना, are you all comfortable with this bit of Hindi? Of course. So, whatever area you are starting, pick up that area. And then only in that area break the topics into dimensions. So that you know that when you have picked up your book, what is that you have to study? So that you save yourself from reading the entire book. I always say that the difference between toppers and someone who just scored average, the difference is that the topper might have read maybe 20 books And someone who has scored average might have read maybe just 4 books, but they both have read only 500 pages. Because topper exactly knew कौन सी book में क्या मिलेगा. And he went for the best in that book. And someone who did not have that nuance went for only one book, भला है बुरा है जैसा भी अब यहीं से करना है. Okay, and that gives a very patchy quality of preparation. Okay, I'm not naming the books, but I can pretty much tell you there are a lot of books which claim कि पूरी zoology, पूरा syllabus एक जगह है. But you look at them, their quality is very patchy. In some area they are pathetic. In some areas they are good also. So you have to understand what book gives you the best coverage. So prepare a dimension list. And after that, you are ready to take off. Take off is the most crucial phase. Here what you will be doing, that you will be reading one topic, one dimension from a single book. Never touch the second book. अगर आप convinced हो कि this book is best for gluconeogenesis, these 5 pages, these 3 pages, that is your go-to resource. Study it, make a synoptical note, all the facts, all the examples, all the key concept at one place, making sure that it never exceeds for a particular dimension 2 sides of an A4 sheet. Okay, I hope no one read anything here. Okay, these are my secret notes. So किसी भी dimension पे ना, the max is 2 sides of an A4 sheet. I call it 2-pager. For humanities subject, it will be 1-pager, but because we are dealing with biosciences, there might be diagram, there might be flow chart, hence 2 pages. So let's say DNA replication in prokaryote, 2-pager. Why 2-pager? UPSC ऐसे भी आपसे short note ही पूछने जा रही है, 10 marker, 15 marker और 20 marker. क्या करोगे 10 पेज का notes बना करके? Ultimately, your notes will be such a burden that you will be looking to summarize your own notes. So what's the fun? First in making lengthy notes and later working again to shorten it. Make crisp notes. So if there are about 600 dimensions in the entire syllabus, you have to have 600 A4 sheets. Just this bundle of A4 sheet, written on both the sides, leaving some margin on one side. In the margin, later on when you are revising, if you find a couple of more points to add, in the margin you can add those points. So start with a single source for a single dimension, and this is where you will need your teacher's help, and go for intense study of that one source. Never add a second source until you have made your notes. Only later, if you are done with the revision and everything, you still have a lot of time, then only you add a second source. More likely you won't be getting that time to make your second add-on. But trust my words, even to get 300 plus in your optional subject, this effort will be more than adequate. Less than 1% candidates have the mental discipline to go through this journey. ये कहने में मुझे जितना आसान लग रहा है, जब आप लोग करने बैठोगे तो मुझे बहुत खुश होगे. But trust me, फिर result वाले दिन you will again think back about this conversation and then you will say कि no, this man told us some right things to do. Okay? So one book, make notes, make very crisp notes, and the idea is first you read it, you understand it, then you break the topic into a small little subtopics, then you write down. उसके बाद क्या है? For bioscience people, pay attention to this one. Illustration is the secret to get a score. And what do I mean by illustration? You might be thinking only diagram. No. In biosciences, we only study 3 things. Either we are dealing with a structure, mouth part of insects, larval forms of insect, a structure of eye, larval forms in echinoderms. All of these are what? Structural descriptions. Or we are dealing with a process, glycolysis, Krebs cycle, pentose phosphate pathway, gluconeogenesis, synthesis of cholesterol, and all of these are what? Processes. The entire physiology is what? Process. Entire embryology is what? Process. And then the third thing is, so either you're dealing with a structure or you're dealing with process or you're dealing with phenomenon. Phenomenon is what? Ecological succession. That's what? A phenomenon. Correct. So you are dealing with only these three things. Global warming, what is it? It is a phenomenon. So for phenomenon, examples. For a structure, diagrams. And for process, flowcharts. So in all these three parts of biological sciences, there is a way to illustrate it. Whenever you are talking about phenomena, be particular about facts and examples. Whenever you are detailing a process, always ask yourself, can I reduce it to a flowchart, which makes it easier for the examiner to go through my answer. And even within that concise format, the examiner is able to see what all I have packed there. And third is, wherever you are dealing with a structure, make sure you are drawing a clean diagram. Illustration is the secret to score well in biological science subjects. Once you have done that, you have to revise your self-made notes and nothing else. You need to go back to your overall textbook and all only when there is a compelling need to, else you should have already extracted everything so that you can revise. Now I am assuming that you have got 600 A4 sheets written on both the sides. One side will be requiring about I would say 5 minutes because it is prepared by yourself only. So it will take 5 minutes. One A4 sheet, both sides will need 10 minutes. 600 sheets, right? You have got 6,000 minutes. That means what? 100 hours. 100 hours means that if you are willing to study 5 hours a day, you can revise the entire syllabus in 20 days. Just go out and ask anyone, can you revise your entire syllabus in 20 days? And people will say, talk realistically. But those who are teaching you realism have ignored a core reality, and that is कि बगैर notes बनाए पढ़ाई नहीं होती. So don't borrow notes, don't ask for notes. Make them. Because that is the only thing you will be able to revise in 5 minutes time. Revise for 3 cycles. 20 days, 20 days, 20 days. ये पूरा नोट्स बनाने में ऑलमोस्ट कितना टाइम लगेगा? सेल्फ स्टडी करके नोट्स बनाने में approximately you have got 600 dimensions to deal with on any for any student who is also going to college, about 6 months, along with your college, along with some time being given to your general studies. That is the time it will be taking. And then 20 days cycle to revise. Revise it at least thrice. 3 cycles of revision, and now you are totally ready. This is the time when you can look for value addition, enhancement, augmentation, and all of that. If any one of you needs to join some kind of classes, this is the best time because you will always be staying ahead of everyone else in the class. I will share with you the story of a medical graduate who came to my class way back. So this guy, who would sit in a corner, fixed place in the classroom, who would always sit there, and he would always look at the teacher. He would always come with something already written. He is looking at the teacher and he is writing it like this, without caring how good or how bad the handwriting is. He would be just writing like this. Then there will be occasions when I say something in the class and he will smile, and not ordinary smile, he will smile like this. Right, what was that? ये तो मेरे notes में पहले से था. So he feels validated, and then whatever new comes, he is furiously writing. So this boy had come with certain degree of preparation, and then he was sitting in the class for value addition and augmentation. He was in first attempt. He came to the coaching after the prelim. Between prelim and main, how many months you are left with? Back in the days, 4 months. Okay, so he came after the prelim, and then he is sitting in the class, very cheerful, not missing any single class. Prelim clear हो गया उसका बाद में, no hi तौबा कि now I have a lot of work to do. No hi तौबा, as cheerful as he always was. And then he faced the mains, met me once. He was from Chandigarh, so met me once. टोल्ड कि सर जितना पूछा गया था मेरी भी तैयारी थी, यहाँ से भी सब कुछ सीख लिया, लिख दिया है सर मैंने. And this guy, when the result came, I was not expecting, for that matter even he was not expecting, he got All India rank 2. I'm talking about Basantgarh. Another boy, Arun Thamburaj, Basantgarh with Zoology. Arun Thamburaj, medical doctor from Tamil Nadu, CMC Vellore. He would write every single thing in the class. I was fearful even about cracking a joke. कि ये वो भी लिखेगा. Right, so you have to be, you have to crack the right kind of jokes. क्योंकि I was always fearful, वो सब कुछ लिखता था. Right. And I often used to say कि देखो ये सब तुम लोग कर लो, फिर ये नोट्स पढ़ना and all of that. तो वो टिप्स में लिखता था, only read these things and all of these things. वो ऐसे करके वो अपनी प्रिपरेशन करता था. So Arun attempted one cycle. He got 180 something rank. He was super upset. People would be happy कि 180 rank आ गया, I will get IPS or if not IRS तो मिल ही जाएगा. He was super upset. Such was his level of upset. He said that, sir, I will be filing a petition against UPSC. I said, Arun, exam ही दे दो. No, sir. They have to be transparent. How did they evaluate my copy? He filed a petition. He wrote the next attempt. दोनों चीजें साथ चल रही हैं. He filed a petition. He wrote the next attempt, and he got 4th rank. His score out of 600. Back in the day, the subject was for 600. His score out of 600, touching 400. That is what he accomplished. And I cannot end without sharing the example of another guy who was briefly a student, now a very dear friend, and in between his selection and going to the academy, he was also a teaching colleague of mine. And I'm pretty proud of having known him so closely and in all these roles. This guy cleared the UPSC in his second attempt. Name comes in the last. Cleared the civil service in the second attempt. He was offered Indian Revenue Service. He comes to me. Sir, I have written this examination to get into either IAS or IPS. I think I'll be wasting a seat by joining IRS. So I'm thinking of declining it. इतने वक्त में I have come across a single person who has declined an offer from the UPSC. He writes it to the DOPT, Department of Personnel and Training, giving his reasons that I am not motivated to join this service, my skills do not align with the demands of the service, and I feel I will not be serving the government of India and the society the way it is expected from me, so it is my duty to humbly decline the job offer. He writes it right in front of me. My office staff took this letter, registered, posted it to the DOPT. He writes next attempt. He got some teaching opportunity with us. He was teaching. He wrote his next attempt. Next attempt, his rank was 160 something. He got rank good enough to become an IPS officer. Okay? And then whole lot of students, because I was also a teacher in the same batch, whole lot of students called me up. सर उनका हो गया है, हमें congratulate करना है या नहीं करना? Such was the level of expectation his students had from him, that this man who has got 166 rank, should we congratulate him or will he be too upset about this? Now imagine. He wrote his final attempt, badly sick, but still he wrote. He said, Ki, sir, now I am going to join the IPS, but nevertheless, I have one more attempt left. I will write it and then I will leave Delhi. At least I will know that I used my opportunities well. He wrote that attempt, he went. His interview call came, he faced the interview, and he was All India rank 1. Dr. Ravdappa Karthik, civil service topper. Right now he is serving World Health Organization, Punjab cadre officer. And one common thread in all these journey, 3 separate examples, one common thread is knowing the direction and having tremendous degree of mental discipline to execute it right. So there is no secret sauce. To quote from Kung Fu Panda, that secret sauce is you. The books remain the same, the teachers remain the same, the support system remain the same. You are the differentiator. So with this basic idea, you are good to start your preparation. Stay confident. Your subject has been one of the most popular science subjects taken by a whole lot of bio background students, medical doctors, vet doctors, dental surgeons, and they have been scoring tremendously well. Let nobody tell you that this is not a good subject. Individuals have their own journey, and when they tender advice, their advice is always having a tint of their own experiences. So that is your overview of how to go about it. If you want my recommendation of books, I will have it shared. I will share a PDF with the Koshika group, and then they will share it with all of you. So my recommendation of books for zoology optional, my recommendation of books for botany optional, all of these I will be sharing. I am purposefully, for the lack of time, not going into these nitty-gritties, and ultimately book तो ही बताना है, तो वो तो मैं PDF भी share कर लूँगा, and it can be shared with all of you. So given the paucity of time, I will be very inclined to take your questions now. Whatever questions you have, without any hesitation, bring them to me. At worst, what will happen? I might not be having the answer. I will check it and I will convey it to the organizing students, and they will give the answer कि अभिषेक सर ने आज ये बताया है. But for everything else, yes, I am ready to take your question. Go ahead. Good morning. Thank you so much.
So my question is that we have, as you said, no subject to swallow pay. Just what your consideration that pages are written. But my question is that in general, the hot topics are geography and political science, these kind of subjects that are taken up more by humanities students. But what about a student who, let's say, just take my example, I'm studying zoology on it right now. And I also have an interest, let's say, in geography. But the thing is that I have studied zoology. I wish to take geography as an optional. So is that a good decision? Because just because I have an inclination towards that, so even though I do not have a definition.
Yeah. So far as geography is concerned, I would suggest that you should once try to read at least the 11th, 12th standard geography nicely, closely, and see if you are still interested. Because in any subject, certain parts are pretty attractive. But when we are taking it as an optional, that's a huge responsibility. And then we have to adopt that subject, good parts, hard parts, and everything. So NCERT books on geography, standard 11 and 12, they give you a very good idea of what you will have to study in detail if you take it as optional. If you find your interest very strong there, you can start with that. Another thing that you have to ask, are you willing to surrender all the advantage that you have gained during these 3 years? Because at the end of the day, it is a competition. And because it is a competition, so whatever advantage that we build, we should not be so quick to let go of those advantages. So that's my answer.
Just a follow-up question. That then why is it that from sciences also switch their option to humanities subject?
3 reasons. One, they might be coming from a college or university where they were not really taught well. Unfortunately, that's a fact. Okay, without naming the university, I can tell you that outside of the central university network, the quality of teaching, the involvement of the students is very, very patchy. Some universities do good, some universities don't do good, and the students don't feel confident. Second, the noise around you. The noise around you, ये scoring है, वो scoring नहीं है, ये easy है, वो easy नहीं है. So that noise is really confusing. Therefore, you will notice that the horses pulling a cart, they will always have blinkers so that they never get distracted by left and right. But more relatable example is you will invariably see in professional bouts, a boxer always enters the arena wearing a big hoodie. because there is no sports arena as polarized as a boxing match. So on one hand, you have people who treat you like God. On the other hand, you have people who are actually abusing you. But you have to be unaffected with this, unaffected from this and from that, and you have to put up your best fights. So lot of people do not have this ability to put the blinkers on, and therefore the noise becomes confusing. For you, it should not be the case. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. So my question to you is, after undergrad, we should rather go for masters or we should rather take a drop and prepare for UPSC?
Very nice question. I'm always in the favor that if you are very, very passionate for UPSC, take a year's break. Give yourself this hard deadline that this break is only for a year and not for a single month more. And all of you, if you have got some interest in the subject, should be thinking of doing masters. If you feel it will take me a little more time to get into the real groove of UPSC preparation, don't think twice, go for the masters. It will add depth not only to your knowledge, but also to your personality. Graduation is just the beginning.
Also, sir, I have one more thing to ask, that I think I could perform better in other subjects, taking them as an optional as compared to zoology.
Okay.
So what will you suggest to?
Give me 3 reasons and the subject where you think you can perform better than this.
So I think anthropology I can perform better because it has a link of zoology and society. Also, zoology, I respect the subject, but it's bit less inclined for me.
Okay.
I prefer working for the society. Like I prefer the areas in which I would be using my ability to work with the society rather than directly like learning and.
See, in the journey of an IS officer, you never know what situation will be thrown at you. So during COVID, trust me, the people with biosciences background, including the medical background, they were the biggest asset within the governance system of our country. And if you are an IS officer with anthropology background, and if you are posted in a Ministry of Trade, what societal benefit you will be securing by knowing anthropology? So there has to be, an alignment between what you have studied as a part of your preparation and what post you are being given. It's not that you are coming from anthropology background, therefore the government of India will always be putting you in tribal districts. Correct? Now, last but not the least, if you actually have a stronger interest in anthropology, read a couple of basic books of physical and social anthropology both. Physical anthropology will have an overlap with the zoology syllabus, but not the social anthropology. Read that book also, Thinkers and Everything. You'll get a clarity, is it your subject or not? Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My question: how can I overcome doubt I'm at the
Okay. What for me? And I'm a person with a huge amount of self-doubt. It has not gone away. So don't be misled by my presentation. Okay. So I'm someone who's big on self-doubt. But I always ask myself, why this self-doubt? I generally try to write, why this self-doubt? Okay. So sometimes self-doubt comes from indeed lack of preparation. This is very addressable cause. And when you have nothing to write on that sheet of paper, why self-doubt? And if you have nothing to write, okay, it simply means that your self-doubt is unfounded or wo chala jayega. Like Randhari Singh Dinkar, through Krishna, gets it conveyed to Kauravas in Rasmirathi. One very confronting line, Krishna says to Kauravas, "Tu darta hai nij paapon se." You are scared of your own wrongdoings. Okay, so oftentimes, जब भी मुझे सेल्फ डाउट हुआ है, तब हुआ है जब 8-10 दिन मैंने लगातार पढ़ाई नहीं की एज ए स्टूडेंट, या समथिंग आई नो इट इज़ नीडेड टू बी डन, मैंने नहीं किया, तब वो सेल्फ डाउट आता था. अगर लिख लिया कि क्यों है और उसका रीज़न है, तो यू नो द एंटीडोट ऑल्सो.
So, my question is, what mindset should I have to tackle the challenges of UPSC?
Always learn, always improve, and always keep pushing ahead no matter what is the obstacle. Sometimes obstacle will be your self-doubt. Sometimes obstacle will be people surrounding you who will be instilling self-doubt. So identify the obstacle but keep pushing through. Most part. Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It was a very insightful session. My question is, as we are from the science background, so how to start our GS preparation, because we have lost certain touch with the humanities subject.
Right. Best way to start is to start with standard 6 SST books, because that is what we have lost touch with. Standard 6 is such an easy thing to do कि वो आप एक दिन में एक बुक फिनिश कर लोगे. आई वोंट बी सरप्राइज, मे बी 2 days will be taken. But as you start building from here, you will get more confident when you touch a standard 9 and 10 book, which are more demanding. NCERTs really give you a very nice holistic understanding, and that understanding will play a big role in advanced level of preparation. And second thing, even if it is just for half an hour a day, be in the habit of newspaper reading. There is no need to make notes at this point of time. But be a person who reads newspaper, even if it is the front page and max the editorial page. But you need to know directly from the newspaper what is happening. No newspaper app will be helpful. No other compilation will be as helpful as reading the newspaper. Okay, ये दो चीजें आप करें. Yeah. Anything else left? Okay. All right then. Time is almost the clock. Okay, हाँ बताओ. No worries.
Sir, I have learned the PSIR workers.
Right.
People and will also look for IFS, so they will go to work for PSIR.
If you are going for IFS, you have to take a science subject.
I like also the IFS have to be diplomacy.
Yeah, okay, sorry. You want to know Indian Foreign Service. Okay. See, the thing is, you could have studied physics also, and you can still go to Indian Foreign Service. So 2 of my students are in Foreign Service. One is presently in Egypt, and the second one is presently in Spain. Having said that, the government of India will anyway be giving you proper, legit, long training. Then there will be embassy attachments, and that is where you know the actual tricks of the game, diplomacy game. So having studied PSIR will give you the backgrounder. But as such, during your training, you will have to learn everything. You will have to pass papers on everything that is required for becoming a good diplomat. So just for that reason, PSIR optional, I don't think it is required. But if you have serious, solid interest, then why not?
Sir, I was
I have read somewhere develop. I have always used structure for diplomacy section. I didn't go and this addicted to that. So
how can I overcome the addiction to always news on my screen?
It's a good addiction to have. Just set the timer. So that you don't, no, trust me, so that you don't overdo it. So I'm interested in many other things, but invariably I set up a timer. जब मैं वो पढ़ रहा होता हूँ, तो I set up a timer so that I do not give it more time than what I should be giving. So it's a good thing. One day it will help you in essay writing, in your general studies, in your interview. So don't feel worried about it.
It actually helped me in like
to can tobacco skin. Because as beach and not any of that much in the tick cycle. And after that I have been take by seldom, and even my parents told me that
decrease is it, and literally 2% to add.
One of the most powerful productivity and balance technique is time boxing. So every day your woken hours should be boxed कि इतने बजे से इतने बजे ही ये काम करना है. When you time box it, there will be balance. Anything else left in the room? Well, I guess not. So now I will take your permission to conclude this session. Trust me, I really enjoyed talking to you. I hope you also enjoyed at least 50% of what I enjoy. And thank you so much for being such a nice audience, and everyone who organized it, and then TIC ma'am, convener ma'am. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I will look forward to meeting you people again. And a couple of things that I discussed, I will have it shared with Koshika Group so that they are circulated among the others. Thank you. Have a great day. Thank you.